You know, there's this one piece of advice that I think we've all had drilled into our heads basically from birth. It's right up there with, look both ways before you cross the street.
Right. Eat your vegetables.
Exactly. And it's the old classic, don't judge a book by its cover.
It's a beautiful sentiment, isn't it? It's really, it's sort of a cornerstone of modern morality.
It really is.
It's all about substance over style, valuing what's on the inside, the character, the text itself, not the packaging.
It is noble. It's virtuous. And as we discovered doing the research for today's deep dive, it is completely and utterly ignored by pretty much every single person who has ever walked into a bookstore.
Oh, 100%. In the world of publishing, of marketing, in cognitive psychology, that idiom isn't just wrong. It's basically business suicide.
Right.
The cover has one job, just one. It's standing there on a crowded shelf or as a tiny thumbnail on your screen, and it is screaming at you to judge it. It is begging you.
It's literally designed to be judge.
Yes.
It's a visual contract, right? Saying, I'm a thriller, be scared.
I'm a romance, get ready for steam.
Or, I'm a very serious historical biography, please take me seriously.
Exactly. It's a promise. A cover is a piece of commercial art, and we have to emphasize that commercial part that promises you a specific emotional experience. It signals genre, tone, who it's for, all in, a fraction of a second?
Less than that.
And when that promise gets broken, when the signal gets totally scrambled, that's when you get these fascinating results. They can be hilarious, sometimes they're genuinely terrifying, and sometimes they're kind of accidentally brilliant.
And that right there is our mission today. We are going on a tour of pure visual chaos. We've pulled together this massive stack of sources for this. We've been digging through some very dedicated and niche internet communities.
Oh, yeah.
Subreddits like terrible book covers, bad sci-fi covers, they're a gold. And we have this incredible comparative study of over 50 different international editions of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
And I think we need to be clear right from the start. This isn't just a session to, point and laugh.
Although we are definitely.
Well, we will absolutely laugh. Some of these they're just indefensible. But we're really doing a study in communication breakdown. We're looking at semiotics, right? The study of signs and symbols.
Okay.
When you see a cover with a boy who has T-Rex hands and he looks thrilled about it,
Yes.
or a wizard holding an Uzi, you have to ask, what was the message they were trying to send? And how did that translation from the words on the page to the image on the front go so spectacularly wrong?
The Uzi wizard is something I'm still trying to process emotionally. We'll get to him. But first, here's our roadmap for this deep dive.
Okay, let's hear it.
We're going to start with what we're calling the objectively terrible, just fundamental failures in graphic design. Then we'll do that global tour with the Harry Potter experiment and see how different cultures visualize
the cultural mistranslation.
Exactly. Then we'll dive into the uncanny valley of early digital art, that specific nightmare fuel from the early 2000s.
Oh, the bad Photoshop era.
And yeah, we'll finish with the so bad it's good phenomenon where somehow terrible design actually becomes genius.
It's going to be a wild ride. A visual journey for the ears. Let's do it.
All right, let's open this first file. I'm calling this section Graphic Design is My Passion.
I know that meme.
We're looking at covers that don't just fail on an artistic level, but on a functional one. They completely fail to convey any sense of authority. And we have to start with the most ironic example of all, the text.
Yeah. The graphic design basics artifact, a true classic of the genre.
So just paint the picture for everyone. We have a textbook. The title is literally Graphic Design Basics. Now, if you are writing a book to teach people the basics of graphic design, what is the absolute number one non-negotiable requirement for your cover?
It's an ethos appeal, pure and simple. In rhetoric, ethos is your credibility, your authority. The cover is your resume. It has to demonstrate competence. You wouldn't buy a cookbook from a chef with a picture of a burnt TV dinner on the front.
Or a car repair manual with a picture of a car on fire, unless, I guess, the book is called How to Put Out a Car Fire.
Right. But this cover for Graphic Design Basic, describe what we're looking at. Because my first thought was Microsoft PowerPoint, circa 1998.
That is being so generous. To me, it looks like Word 97 when you first discovered the insert shape and word art tools.
It's got that specific clunky clip art feel. There are these random geometric shapes, a triangle here, a circle there, and they're just sort of floating in space with no grid, no alignment.
None at all. And the typography, the text itself looks like default Arial. And it's unkerned, right? That's the term.
Yep, unkerned. The spacing between the letters is all weird and uneven. The colors are this muddy, bizarre mix of browns and purples. It genuinely looks like a slide from a high school book report 20 years ago.
It completely destroys the authority of the book before you even crack it. I mean, if a professor put this on the syllabus for a design class, I would drop that.
So why does this happen? Is it that old cobbler's children have no shoes thing?
I think that's a huge part of it. A lot of the time, academic textbooks are published by houses that they don't have a big budget for covers, even for design books, ironically.
Just assume the content will speak for itself.
Right. But there's also, I think, a kind of blindness that can happen. The author might be a genius at the theory. They can tell you everything about the history of the Bauhaus movement or, the details of typography.
But they can't actually.
Exactly. It's this massive disconnect between academic knowledge and actual commercial It's a meta fail. It fails at the very thing it claims.
A total own goal.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, if that's a failure of basic competence, our next exhibit is a failure of tone, of mood.
Oh, this one, the travel guide. It's titled Going.
This one is genuinely unsettling.
Going place. 2 words. It just implies optimism, right? Adventure, movement, new horizons.
You'd expect a plain wing against a blue sky or a sunset or a tropical beach, something that makes you want to pack a bag.
A suitcase, a couple holding hands walking down a cobblestone street.
Anything that triggers that little vacation dopamine hit in your brain.
And instead, the color palette on this thing is black, deep, blood.
Yeah, it's not a happy red. It's a sinister red.
And the imagery is abstract, but it's all sharp, jagged lines. It looks like a descent into some kind of There are these shadowy figures that look like they're fleeing from something horrible.
If I saw this on a shelf, I would 100% assume it was a horror novel. Or maybe a psychological thriller about a family vacation that goes horribly, horribly.
Right. Going place, straight to hell.
This is just a fundamental failure of color psychology. I mean, we are culturally conditioned to associate certain colors with certain genres. Red and black is almost exclusively for horror thrillers or, totalitarian dystopias.
And when you use that for a travel guide, it creates this huge cognitive dissonance. Your brain reads danger, run, but the text says travel, fun.
And your brain just goes, you know what? I think I'll just stay home. Thanks.
Speaking of totalitarian dystopias, that brings us to George Orwell, 1984.
Of course.
Now, this is a book that's had probably thousands of covers over the years. We all know the visual language for it, right? Big Brother's eyes, gray concrete, barbed wire.
It's bleak. It's oppressive. It's the definition of grim. The book literally defined the word Orwellian.
So can you explain to me why on this one specific edition we found, the characters look like they're starring in a quirky indie rom-com?
This is the Indie Pop 1984. The Twee Dystopia edition.
The character on the front, who I have to assume is Winston Smith, is looking at the camera with this kind of wistful, awkward little smile, and I cannot unsee this. He looks exactly like the actor Michael Cera.
Oh, it is a dead ringer for Michael Cera.
And I swear he's wearing blue eyeshadow.
The makeup is a fascinating choice. In the book, everything is described as being covered in grime and dust. The gin smells like acid. Everything is decaying. And on this cover, everyone looks moisturized.
They look so glam. It's Michael Cera in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, but the world is Airstrip 1.
Now, when I first saw this, I tried to play devil's advocate.
Wow.
I thought, okay, could this be brilliant? Could this be a meta commentary?
Like propaganda theory. Yeah.
Exactly. The Party in 1984 is all about rewriting history, making miserable reality seem wonderful. The Ministry of Truth pumps out lies. So is it possible the cover designer was trying to act as the Ministry of Truth?
Like they're trying to gaslight the reader before they even open the book. Hey, life under Big Brother is actually pretty chill and has great lighting.
It's a brilliant theory, and I would love to give the designer that much credit. It would transform a terrible design into a narrative masterpiece. It makes the cover part of the world of the story. But
there's a but.
There's a but. And the but is usually Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is probably the right one.
Which is?
This is most likely a stock photo disaster. The publisher probably typed young man portrait into a database, found a quirky image they thought would appeal to a younger demographic, and slapped it on the cover without ever reading the book.
It's the commodification of a classic.
Totally. Once a book becomes required reading in schools, some publishers just stop trying. They figure the students have to buy it anyway, so why waste money on good art?
That's so cynical, but it feels so true. The required reading laziness. Here's the book. It has the words in it. Give us $12.
And you're left with the haunting image of Michael Cera staring lovingly at Big Brother, which, in its own way, is a kind of dystopia.
It really is. Okay, let's shift gears. We're moving from general incompetence to something a little more complex, cultural mistranslation. And for this, we have the perfect case study.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. It's the ultimate control group.
It's a perfect data set for this, really. You have one text, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Same story, same characters, same plot point. But it's published in, over 200 territories?
Something like that.
So you get to see how dozens of different artists,
Yeah.
all filtering the same words through their own unique cultural lenses, visualize that world. It's like a Rorschach test for entire nations.
So let's establish the baseline first. The US and UK editions that most of us are familiar with.
Right. The visual vocabulary is pretty set there. You've got the Hogwarts Express, that Scarlet steam engine. You've got the castle itself, maybe the unicorn from the Forbidden Forest, Fluffy the three-headed dog.
It's whimsical, it's magical, but it's got a little bit of mystery, a little darkness to it.
Exactly. It's the Western fantasy standard. It promises adventure and a hidden world just beyond our own.
Okay, so that's our control group. Now let's go to France, and specifically an older French edition that has become the stuff of internet.
Oh, the Pilgrim.
I stare at this cover for a solid 20 minutes trying to figure it out. It shows Harry and presumably Ron and Hermione, but they're dressed like they just stepped off the Mayflower. They have the buckle hats, the big white collars, the drab brown coat. They look like they're about to go churn some butter.
Or attend a town meeting about crop rotation. It is absolutely baffling.
There is nothing in the text, nothing, that suggests 17th century Puritan fact. They wear robes, yeah, but also jeans and sweaters.
Oh.
The book is set in the 1990s.
So where does this come from? Why Pilgrim?
That's the question.
Here's where we have to start speculating about cultural touch. In France, there's a very strong, very specific tradition of historical comics, the bande dessinée.
Okay.
So when a French illustrator hears the words witches and wizards, they might not immediately default to the pointy hat and stars on the robe, which is a very Anglo-American trope.
So what do they default?
They might default to a historical period that they strongly associate with witchcraft.
So like the Salem witch trials or the European witch hunts?
Exactly. The artist hears witch, their brain goes to the 17th century. So they draw what looks like a pilgrim. It's a logical leap in a way, but it lands them in a completely different genre.
It completely strips out the magical boarding school vibe.
And replaces it with historical drama about early American settlers.
If I'm a French kid looking at that, I'm thinking, oh great, a book about farming and religious persecution. Fun.
Not exactly the page-turner you're hoping for when you're 11.
Yeah.
It frames the magic as, like, a historical superstition rather than an active, vibrant power.
But, okay, at least that has some kind of twisted historical logic to it. The Italian cover, on the other hand, the rat hat, this one defies all known laws of logic.
This cover breaks my brain every time I see it.
Just try to picture. You have Harry. He's standing next to a giant chess piece. Okay, fine. Chess is a key scene in the book.
That part tracks.
But Harry is wearing, and I want to be very clear, he is wearing on his head a giant, realistic-looking rat.
And it's not a hat that's shaped like a rat. It is a rat functioning as a hat. It's huge. It's almost the size of his head.
And Harry looks so serious about it. He's got this contemplative, thoughtful expression, as if wearing a rodent toupee is perfectly normal.
No. We know there's a rat in the book, right? Ron's pet, Scabbers.
Yes, but Scabbers is usually asleep in Ron's pocket. He is never, at any point in the 7-book series, worn as head...
And he's definitely not involved in the giant chess scene.
Not at all.
So this is where I think the telephone game theory of cover design comes into.
Okay, explain that.
Imagine the art director of the publishing. They're busy. They haven't read the book. They send a brief to the illustrator. That's just a list of keywords.
Like a word cloud.
Exactly. The brief says, boy, wizard, chess, rat, hat.
And the artist just panics and combines them?
The artist looks at the list and goes, okay, rat, hat, hat. I know, the rat is the hat. It's a total hallucination. It's a collage of concepts, not a depiction of a scene from the story.
It just shows a complete and utter lack of context. It's like if you were told to draw a cover for Moby Dick and you drew a whale wearing a sea captain's hat.
It's grotesque. It looks like he's wearing roadkill.
Yeah.
But it perfectly illustrates that disconnect when the artist is just assembling nouns without understanding the story.
And that leads us perfectly into the Catalan edition. Because this one isn't even an illustration.
The birthday party photo. This one just hurts because it feels so lazy.
It's literally a photograph. And not like a cool, stylized, manipulated photo. It's just a regular snapshot of a random kid in a cheap-looking wizard costume standing in a park.
It looks like someone's mom took a picture at a backyard birthday party in, like, 2002.
There's no magic, no sense of wonder. The lightning bolt scar isn't even visible. It's just a boy in a polyester cape.
And the problem here is the medium itself. Fantasy as a genre relies on the suspension of disbelief.
Right.
Illustration helps with that. It creates a natural barrier between our world and the fictional world. But when you use a hyper-realistic, mundane photograph of a regular kid in a cheap costume, you shatter that immersion instantly.
It screams, this is fake. This is just a kid playing dress-up.
It's the uncanny valley of boredom. It just lowers the stakes to zero. It doesn't look like he's about to face down the Dark Lord. It looks like he's about to go hit a piñata.
It trivializes the whole concept of magic. It suggests the book is about the game of being a wizard, not the reality.
But for the absolute peak of brand confusion, we have to go to China. And this is a case where I genuinely believe that copyright law was treated as more of a gentle suggestion.
The great Peter Pan crossover event.
I still can't believe this is real.
The cover has the title Harry Potter in big, bold Chinese characters. No confusion there. But the
artwork is undeniably 100% Disney's Peter.
It's not even a redraw. It looks like they just scanned a Disney. You've got Wendy, John, Michael, and Peter Pan himself flying past Big Ben in London. It's the classic icon.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
You have to try and put yourself in the shoes of a publisher, maybe in a market that was, at that time, just being flooded with Western pop culture imports.
All right.
They probably just had a folder on their computer labeled Western Fantasy Image. And to them, the distinction between Harry Potter and Peter Pan, maybe it just wasn't that significant.
They just saw the common elements. British kids are flying.
Exactly. British, check. Flying, check. Magic, check. Close enough, ship it. It's treating Western fantasy as this single, interchangeable blob of content.
It's the ultimate bait and switch. Imagine buying that book expecting to read about Neverland and you get Hogwarts. Or the other way around.
It's a complete failure of product identity. But it shows how those cultural markers work. To us, those are two completely distinct, massive franchises. To a specific designer in China in 2001, maybe they were just foreign magic stuff.
We touched on it a little with the birthday party photo, but I want to go deeper into the digital side of things now. Section 3, the Uncanny Valley and the dawn of bad Photoshop.
The late 90s and early 2000s. It was a very dangerous time for book cover.
A digital Wild West.
It really was. The tools were new, Photoshop was becoming more accessible, and there's that old saying, just because you can do something, should.
We should probably define the Uncanny Valley for anyone who might not know the term.
Sure. It's a concept that originally came from a professor named Masahiro Moore. And the idea is basically, as a robot or a digital image looks more and more human, our empathy for it increases.
Okay, that makes sense.
But you hit a certain point where it's almost perfectly human, but something is just a little bit off. And at that point, our emotional response plummets into revolt.
It looks like a zombie or a corpse.
Exactly. It looks wrong. It triggers this primal avoid disease instinct in our brains.
And that brings us to a biography of Beethoven we found.
Poor Ludwig. He didn't deserve this.
We all know what Beethoven looks like from the portraits, right? The wild hair, the intense scowl, the serious, brooding genius.
The archetypal, tormented artist.
The cover of this biography. It looks like he's been put through a Snapchat filter. He's been yassified.
He really has. It's Instagram face on a 19th century composer. His skin is airbrushed to an impossible smoothness. He has these weirdly alluring, soulful eyes.
And the blue eyeshadow is back. I don't know what it is with designers and blue eyeshadow, but he looks like a modern influencer doing Beethoven cosplay.
This is a perfect example of a clash of mediums. You're taking a subject from the 18th century, a time of oil paints and texture and grit, and you're rendering him with these glossy, sterile tools of early 2000s digital art.
It just strips away all the gravitas.
Completely. It makes a musical titan look like a character from The Sims. One of our sources had a great line. Blue eyeshadow on historical figures should be a felony. You know what? I kind of agree. It's just disrespect.
Creates this massive dissonance. You expect history, but you get this weird digital fantasy. Devalues the subject.
Speaking of digital nightmares, let's talk about the cover for Aldous Huxley's Brave New World.
Oh, it's a classic text, but this specific, it looks like a cutscene from a glitchy PlayStation 1.
The low poly aesthetic, as they call it.
The faces are all blocky and angular. The eyes are just a little too far apart. It looks like early CGI testing for a horror movie from 1990.
And this is a really important lesson in how technology aged. In 1995, this cover might have actually looked cool and futuristic. It screamed, "The digital age is here!"
But digital art ages like milk, not like wine.
Exactly. An oil painting from the 1500s can still look incredible today. CGI from 1995 just looks monstrous. It's the future of yesterday.
And it's so distracting. You're not thinking about Huxley's themes of social control and technology. You're just thinking, why does that man have a pyramid for a nose?
It pulls you out of the story before you even begin. And that is the ultimate sin of a book.
But sometimes the wrongness we see is actually technically correct. And for that, we have to discuss the Ready Player One content.
The leg.
The leg. This was for the movie tie-in poster, which also served as a book cover. You've got the main character climbing up this structure of trailers. And his right leg looked impossibly comically long, like Slender Man long. It looks like his leg alone.
Yeah.
The internet absolutely tore this poster apart. It was a meme for...
People were posting diagrams of anatomy, who approved this. It was a whole thing.
But then, and this is why I love the internet, the digital sleuths got to work. They started analyzing the perspective.
They did the math?
They literally did the math. They applied what's called bounding box. They figured out the angle of the virtual camera. And it turns out, mathematically, if you were shooting with a very wide-angle lens from that specific low angle...
The leg would look that long.
It is technically correct within the physics of that specific...
So the internet was wrong?
No. And this is the crucial part. The internet was right. Because this is a key lesson in design. Perception is reality. It doesn't matter if the math works out. If the average human looks at it and their immediate reaction is, that looks broken, then the design has failed.
You have to cheat the math to make it look right to the human eye.
That is such a profound point. If it looks wrong, it is wrong. You can't argue with the audience's gut reaction.
Exactly. You can't ship a little note with every book that says, P.S. The focal length of the virtual lens explains the leg. The cover has to work instantly or not at all.
Okay, one more in this uncanny section. The boy with dinosaurs.
This image will haunt my dreams forever.
The title is pretty self-explanatory. It's a book called The Boy with Dinosaur Hands. Cover shows exactly that. A boy, and instead of hands, he has T-Rex claws.
Now, normally this would be a body horror trope. It's Kafka's The Metamorphosis. It should be terrifying.
Or at the very least, kind of sad. It's like, oh no, I can't fork anymore.
But just look at the expression on his face.
He looks stoked. He is beaming. He looks like he just won the lottery. Yay! I have vestigial lizard claws.
This creates this massive tonal mismatch that sends your brain right into the uncanny valley. The hands say monster movie, but the face says Disney Channel's sitcom.
Is it a comedy? Is it a tragedy? Is it a superhero origin story? You have no idea how you're supposed to feel, so you just end up feeling awkward.
It's the cringe factor. It's like when someone starts laughing hysterically at a funeral. It's just a completely inappropriate emotional reaction to the visual data you're being given.
All right, so we've seen the failures of competence, of tone, of technology, but sometimes the chaos dial gets turned up so high that it spins all the way around and becomes a different thing entirely.
It becomes genius.
Section 4. So bad, it's good. And the surprising power of niche signals.
This is my absolute favorite category. This is where bad design stops being a bug and becomes a feature.
And we have to start with the master. We have to talk about Chuck.
The living legend.
If you're listening and you don't know who Chuck Tingle is, you are in for it. How would we describe surrealist erotica parody?
That's about as close as you can get.
And we're looking at a cover for a book titled, and please take a deep breath, Trans Wizard Harriet Porber and the Bad Boy Parasaur.
The title alone is a masterpiece of keyword stuffing and pure absurdity.
And the visual, it's exactly what you'd expect. We've got a dinosaur, you've got terrible cut and paste Photoshop, a woman's head that's just kind of floating on a motorcycle.
Lens flares everywhere. It looks like a fever dream that was made in MS Paint. But here's the crucial thing. It is 100% intent. Chuck Tingle knows exactly what he is. This cover is a highly effective filter.
What do you mean by a filter?
Think about it. If this book had a tasteful, minimalist, high art cover, a reader might buy it, open it up, read about a romance with a dinosaur, and be furious. They'd feel like they were tricked.
So the bad cover is basically a warning label.
It's more than a warning. It's an invitation. The cover says this book is going to be weird, it's going to be campy, it's going to be silly and trashy. If that's your thing, come on in. If not, please stay away. It's signaling to its tribe.
It's intentional cringe. It creates an inside joke between the author and the exact writer.
Precisely. And that's how you build a loyal community.
Speaking of community, let's talk about mob magic. This cover, I would unironically frame this and put it on my wall.
The Oozy Wizard, a true masterpiece.
So the painting itself is classic fantasy. You've got a Gandalf-type wizard, long white beard, pointy hat, flowing robe, holding a magical staff, standard stuff. But in his other, he is dual-wielding an Uzi submachine gun.
It is such a violent, beautiful clash of aesthetic. High fantasy meets a 1980s action movie.
I cast bullets.
It works so well because it just completely subverts your expectations in an instant. Most fantasy covers promise, wonder, magic, ethereal light. This one promises a drive-by shooting in Middle-earth.
It's hilarious, and it makes you desperate to read the book just to find out how that even works. Does he enchant the bullets? I have to know.
It grabs your attention. In a sea of 1,000 generic wizard covers, the Uzi stands out. It's a perfect example of the ADA marketing model. Attention, interest, desire, action. The Uzi gets you the attention immediately.
And then there's the romance genre. Romance covers seem to operate by their own set of physical laws.
They really do. They are communicating directly to the id, bypassing the rational brain entirely.
We found a cover for a book called Timber. It shows a rugged-looking mountain man, and he's holding a baby.
So far, so normal for that genre.
But the baby isn't being held in his arms. The baby is tucked under his pectoral muscle.
Like a kangaroo pouch made of pure muscle.
It defies anatomy. It defies gravity. It makes no sense.
But it communicates the fantasy perfectly. It's saying, this man is so strong and so protective that his very muscles are a crib for this child. It's hyperliteralism. It's not logical, but it's emotionally effective.
And then there was Found a Way to Date My Cat,
where a wizard casts a hunk spell on his cat, Mr. Tip.
and the cat transforms into a shirtless, buff man who still has cat ears.
Again, it's signaling to a very, very specific niche. These covers aren't trying to win design awards at a gallery. They are trying to trigger a very specific dopamine response in a very specific reader.
They're whispering, we know what you want, no matter how weird it is. Got it.
It's shameless. And honestly, you have to respect the efficiency of the communication. It's not for you, it's not for me, but it's perfect for someone.
Okay, let's circle back to Harry Potter one last time. We looked at the cultural accidents and mistrans. Now I want to look at intentional genre bend.
Right. Because depending on where you are in the world, Harry Potter isn't always marketed as a children's fantasy book.
This is the marketing pivot. How do you sell a book about a boy wizard to, say, a 40-year-old man in Russia?
Well, let's look at the Russian adult edition cover. It's intense.
It really is. It's almost entirely black and white. It's gritty, very high contrast. It shows a train, but it looks nothing like the whimsical Hogwarts Express.
It looks like a Soviet-era industrial transport or a prison train.
It looks like a scene from the movie Sin City or a John le Carré spy novel.
Exactly. It's deliberately reframing the narrative as a grim, high-stakes thriller. It's not saying this is a story about magic candy and flying broomsticks. It's saying this is a story about a political dissident escaping a brutal regime.
Which, to be fair, the series does eventually become that. But for book one, it's
It's misleading. But from a marketing perspective, it's brilliant. It removes the stigma for an adult who might feel embarrassed to be seen reading a kid. You can read that on the Moscow Metro and look like a serious intellectual.
The recent Italian edition, something similar, right? The Dark Academia.
Yeah, they focus on the moody architecture of the castle, lots of shadows. It makes it look less like Harry Potter and more like Donna Tartt's The Secret History. It's all about targeting a different demographic.
Then you have a complete opposite end of the spectrum, the text aesthetic. We saw covers from China and Brazil that look painful.
They looked like required curriculum, homework.
The Chinese one was literally labeled New Curriculum Must. It had a plain beige cover with a small, polite little sketch of a boy on it. It looked like something your math teacher would hand out.
It's a cover that says there will be a test on them.
But why would you do that? Harry Potter is pure escapism. Why would you deliberately drain all the joy and wonder out of it?
It comes down to cultural value. In some markets, the main selling point for parents isn't your kid will have fun reading this. The selling point is this book will improve your child's literacy and test scores.
So they package it to look like a...
This was such a great find. The cover shows the mirror of Arise.
Yeah.
But the design of the mirror, it's not an original illustration based on the description.
No, it's unmistakably the design from the Chris the Movie prop.
This is what happens when a successful adaptation starts to consume its own source. The movie comes out, it defines the visual language of the world for millions of people, and then the new book covers start copying the movie's aesthetic.
So the imagination of the reader gets replaced by the production design of Warner Bros.
It is a kind of laziness, yeah. It's just use the assets from the film. And the result is that art becomes homogenized. All the unique cultural interpretations we've been talking about start to disappear, and everything starts to look the same.
We have ragged on a lot of covers today. Rat Hat, Pilgrims, Oozy Wizards, and what did you call it? A man-titty baby?
I believe that was the technical term, yes.
But we have to acknowledge that sometimes designers get it absolutely breathtakingly right. Sometimes they create a piece of art that truly elevates the text. Section 6, the math.
We have to end on a high note, because when cover art really works, it's transcendent.
And we have to start with the Thai editions of Harry Potter. Oh my goodness.
These are, I would argue, the gold standard for illustrated editions of any book.
Can you even describe it? It's so intricate.
It's this sprawling, incredibly detailed illustration, but it uses what are called Gestalt principles, where the whole becomes more than the sum of its parts. You see Dumbledore's face, but then you realize his long, flowing white beard is also the steam billowing from the Hogwarts Express.
And the Sorting Hat's folds and wrinkles morph into the spires and towers of Hogwarts Castle itself.
Everything is interconnected. It's a design that rewards the fan, it rewards the learner. The more you look at it, the more clever details you discover.
It respects the reader's intelligence. It's not just shouting wizard. It's weaving this rich visual tapestry. It captures the complexity of the world, not just a few plots.
It's just beautiful. And then, in a different way, you have the Mina Lima edition.
Now, who are Mean Lima?
They're the graphic design duo who actually created all the props for the films. They designed the Marauders map, the Daily Prophet newspapers, the textbook covers.
So this is the movie aesthetic, but it's being done right.
Exactly. Because they aren't just taking a screenshot from the movie and slapping it on the cover. They're applying the design language they invented for the wizarding world to the book itself.
The cover has gold foil, it has embossed textures.
It feels like an artifact from that world. It turns the book from just a story into an object of art, a souvenir from a place you love.
And finally, we have to give a special mention to France for their redemption arc.
Yes, from the Pilgrims to the 25th anniversary edition, it's a huge glow up.
They really stepped it up. The new cover is this stunning, stylized graphic art. It shows a lion for Gryffindor made of fire, and it's fighting us for Slytherin. It's bold, it's modern, it's dynamic.
No buckle hats, no drab brown coats.
Just pure conflict and magic.
It shows that brands and publishers can learn. They move away from those confusing historical cues, and they embrace the core themes of the story. Good versus evil, courage versus cunning. It's a perfect visual summary.
So we have been on quite a... We've seen Gordon Ramsay eating a Oh, wait, we didn't even get to deep dive on that one.
That was the cover for Ray Kurzweil's The Age of Spiritual Machines, right?
Yeah.
Where the guy looks like he's just chomping down on an old Nokia.
Yes, another tragic victim of the generic stock photo era. But we've seen T-Rex hands, we've seen these intricate Thai masterpieces, and we've seen the pure horror of the Rat Hat.
It has been a visual roller coaster.
So what's the big takeaway from all this, aside from, don't put blue eyeshadow on Beethoven?
Well, aside from that very important rule, I think the takeaway is that visual literacy is a language. It's just like written literacy, and it's a very fragile and easily misunderstood language.
How do you mean fragile?
A book cover is essentially a translator. It has to take, 80,000, 100,000 words of text and distill the entire essence of that down into one single image.
That's an impossible task.
It almost is. And when that translation works, like with the Thai cover, it can bridge cultures and invite you into a world. But when it fails, like the Chinese Peter Pan cover, it's almost always because the translator, the artist, didn't actually understand the source material.
Or they were speaking a completely different cultural dialect, like the French pilgrims.
Exactly. We judge books by their covers because we have. Our brains are processing thousands of images a day. The cover is the first line of defense. It's a shortcut that tells us, is this for me?
And when the syntax of that visual language is broken bad Photoshop, the wrong genre,
we reject it or we turn it into a meme.
The Rat Hat is definitely a syntax.
A fatal system error.
I do like the idea that a lot of these bad covers are just artifacts from a game of telephone. It makes them feel less like total failures and more like misunderstood attempts at connect.
That's a very charitable and poetic way to look at it. But
yeah,
in a way, it's just human error put on display for everyone to see.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I have a final provocative thought for everyone listening.
Oh, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
We've spent the last hour judging all these covers, analyzing their signals, what they promise. I want to turn that lens around.
Okay.
If you had to design the cover for the story of your life right now, but there are rules. You cannot use a photograph of yourself. No selfies allowed. You have to pick a single object or a single symbol to put on the cover that would make people understand the genre of your life. What's on the cover?
Wow, that is a tough question.
Is it, a chaotic abstract paint, a peaceful landscape, dumpster fire?
Or is it a hat made of a rat?
Let's hope not, for your sake.
I think, for me. It might be a half-finished cup of coffee sitting on a very tall, slightly unstable stack of books.
The genre is over-caffeinated, sure. I like it. I get it.
What about you?
I think mine would be a GPS unit, but it's just got that spinning wheel on the screen. And the only words are recalculating.
The genre of confused adventure.
Precisely. So think about it, everyone listening. What's the visual promise of your life? What genre are you signaling to the rest of the world?
And please, whatever you choose, just check the bounding box on the Photoshop before you publish.
And go easy on the blue eyeshadow.
Always good advice.
That is it for this deep dive into visual chaos. Thanks for exploring the stacks with us.
Always a pleasure. Keep reading and keep looking.
See you in the next.